Since the dawn of fighting games, since the jump, since Street Fighter 2, one of the genre's most defining characteristics has been its diversity in the nationalities of all its playable characters. Having a character represent a country could be huge in broadening their appeal. Look at characters from Street Fighter, Tekken, Fatal Fury, their nationalities are often front and center. But you know what franchise is caught lacking with this kind of thing often? King of Fighters. On the SNK Wiki and the KOF portal, so many characters just have their birthplace listed as unknown, and that's so fucking boring. You know, I want to know about these characters. I want to know, you know, where they come from and how that affects them and this and that, you know. So today I'm going to be definitively answering the question of where these mysterious characters originate from, and by that I'm going to be making a headcanon tier list, because, you know, there's no actual real evidence for most of these. So let's fucking do it. So in order to do this, I'm going to be using my own tier list template. As you see here, I worked on this a couple weeks ago, and it has a shit ton of SNK characters on it, as you can see. We're going to be focusing on only KOF today, because it's the series with the most unknown birthplace characters. You know, most of the series are pretty good with this kind of thing. Like Fatal Fury, as I mentioned, and Art of Fighting. We know where most of these motherfuckers come from. So, you know, I figure we start out with the most obvious characters, so let's just go with South America. And I think we can all agree that we chuck Haydn and Leona on here. I think most people can agree upon this. You know, Haydn and Leona, they've just sort of been, you know, I think Haydn mostly is associated with Brazil. You got Haydn on the Brazil team in KOF 94. Leona is, you know, I think it's like a Latin name, maybe not necessarily common, but, you know, associated with South America. I think this is pretty good. Next up, let's do Vanessa. This is a strange character that they haven't revealed a nationality for. I don't really understand why. And, you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and fuck it. North America for Vanessa. I don't know anything. I don't know much about Vanessa. She's a pretty mysterious character in general, but I don't see any, you know, clues as to where else she would come from. It's weird because, yeah, Seth and Lynn, you know, her posse, and Ramon, we know where they come from, but we don't know where she comes from. It's kind of weird that it's a mystery. Again, it's just weird because, you know, it's one of the first things you'd think of when you make a fighting game character, right? Like, okay, where do they come from? But you skipped that with Vanessa, and I don't really see why. I don't see why her nationality being unknown is relevant. It just seems like a weird oversight to me. I don't know. Let's move on to something a bit more controversial, but something I wholeheartedly believe in. Irish. Who is Irish? Who's from Ireland? K-Dash and Whip. What? Listen. If we go on the KOF portal, we go check out Mr. Chrysalid's page. Where the fuck is he? He is from Ireland. He's from Ireland. This has perplexed me for years because nothing about Chrysalid screams Irish at all. And the thing about him is, he's just a clone of K-Dash. So, I mean, the only way I can see that you could explain that Chrysalid is from Ireland is if he was, you know, cloned or produced or whatever in a nest space in Ireland, which just, it seems like a really random-ass detail. And I know I'm equating nationality and birthplace in this video, and I probably will keep doing that for the rest of it, but I'm just gonna assume, you know, based on Chrysalid's apparent birthplace being Ireland, that he is inheriting K-Dash and Whip's nationality, I guess. I don't know. Plus, if you just imagine Whip speaking with an Irish accent, it's just, it's very cute, so that's another reason I champion for this. Alright, next up we got Mature and Vice. And where do I think Mature and Vice come from? Again, mysterious characters for the sake of being mysterious. We don't know much about them, to be honest, other than they are, you know, Orochi dick suckers. But with Mature, I feel pretty confident. I'm going with Russia. Bitch just looks Russian, right? Look at her. That's Russia. Do I need to elaborate? That's all the reasoning I really have. I can't elaborate. That is just it. If you disagree, leave a comment. Vice I'm more stuck on. But if I had to guess, I would be like, somewhere in Southeast Asia, maybe Indonesia, Malaysia, or maybe she's Indian. She kind of gives those vibes. Let's go with another obvious one that I don't think any people are gonna have a problem with. No one's gonna really argue against this. Vietnam, Luong. Where is she? Where did I put her on this fucking thing? There she is. Luong is a Vietnamese name, I'm pretty sure. Most people seem to agree Luong is from Vietnam, even though it's, supposed to be mysterious. Birthplace unknown! Luong's from Vietnam. Let's move on. How about Rugal Bernstein? Big Rugal. Sorry, Rugal. I'll never get used to calling him Rugal. It's always going to be Rugal to me. Now, Rugal, his second name is Bernstein. I think that makes it pretty obvious this man is from Germany. Or, if not from Germany, or at least of German origin. I like to imagine Rugal is, he might have been born in Germany, or his parents might be German, but he himself, maybe not. Because we already have a German emperor in SNK and Krauser. It's kind of boring to have two very similar sort of characters being from the same place, in my opinion. Maybe you don't care. Maybe you don't care about Krauser. Only I care about Krauser, but still. And joining Rugal will be Mr. Leopold. These nuts. For similar reasons. Most people seem to agree that he's German. Even taking away the stupid fan name. Not stupid, it's a decent name, but it's not canon, and most people seem to think it is. But still, I mostly see people say he's German. So you have another German villain. I don't know a single SNK German character that isn't a fucking villain, to be honest. But there you go. And speaking of Rugal, let's do his son real quick. Where are you, Ado? Now, same as Rugal, you'd think, okay, born in Germany, but I think this kid was probably born on the Sky Noah. So his nationality is air. He is from the sky. Him and Rose. But obviously, he's Rugal's son. He'd have, German ancestry or whatever. Now let's move on to one I'm less sure on. Kula, the anti-K-Dash. Is she also Irish? No. She's not a clone of anyone. She's another, Nest's abduction. So where was she abducted from? I looked into the name Kula, and from what I could find, it's like a Czech, Polish, and Slovakian surname. But that's Kula as a surname. I don't think it's a first name, anywhere in the world. But Kula sort of looks like, she has that germ about her. So I'm gonna say probably from one of those made-up European countries. Let's learn how to spell. There you go. She could be Swedish, Polish, any of that shit. And speaking of nests, what about the big boss? What about Ignis? Where is he from? Well, if you look at the KOF portal, most of the nests people are, unknown, because, that's really fucking interesting. But what's curious is Zero is from the North Pole. Ho, ho, ho. Zero is KOF Santa Claus, everybody. You thought it was Chang? It's actually Zero. So I really don't have any other ideas for Zero. So I might as well just be like, he's from the North Pole as well. But that's a weird ass place to be born. I don't know how any woman could safely, deliver a child in the North Pole without it turning into a fucking icicle on the way out, right? Moving on from nests, let's move on to, these fun bags from, those from the past. Okay, so Psyche, as far as I know, I don't really know this lore very well right now. I don't think anyone does. Does anyone know what happens in Tales of Ash? Let me know. But as far as my limited knowledge of Tales from Ash goes, Psyche is like Oroshi's cousin, right? Like a Western form of Orochi or something. But it doesn't really go, it's like Vegas, like somewhere in Europe that Psyche was like, happening at his stuff. I really don't know. I really don't know, bro. Ash Saga is like, what the fuck? It's the most what the fuck arc in KOF, even more than Nests somehow. So I'm just gonna go with, you know, he's somewhere in Europe. Let's go with Romania. And why? Because I like Castlevania. But Ash is from France. So maybe Psyche is French as well? But I mean, you know, this is a descendant, you know, from thousands and upon thousands of years later. So, you know, it could have became French in that time, right? I guess. But then you've also got to contend with the fact that Megaki and Mukai are Japanese names. So yeah, I don't know. Do with that what you will. Moving on. Who's next? Oh, we got Kukri. So, according to Ash, this is what the KOF port says. He's been to Mali before. According to Ash. Thanks, Ash. Good talk, buddy. I don't know why they wouldn't just make his birthplace the same as Dolores. But whatever. And on that same line of reasoning, we have a relatively forgotten newcomer. Where did I put him on this thing? Xanadu. And if you look at Xanadu's like concept art and the concept art for Kukri and Dolores, it seems like he's supposed to be connected. I wouldn't actually be surprised if Xanadu came back in Season 3. He wasn't very well received as a character, but he seems to actually have some lore relevance. So I'm just going to go with Africa. Because Mali, I don't even know. I'm going to be honest, I didn't know this country existed until KOF. Sue me. Based on his apparent connection to Kukri and Dolores. Yeah, can we agree on that? That seems good. And they haven't, there's no actual lore. I don't think Kukri or Dolores have ever mentioned Xanadu, but the designs on his clothing is similar to what they have, so, you know, that's been a theory cooking in the community for some time. So that works. So I think we've covered most of the unknown nationality characters. This is a character that, you know what? Hang on. This is a character that doesn't have an unknown nationality, but I'm fucking retconning this. Ralph is Mexican. Fucking fight me. Ralph just looks Mexican to me. I refuse to believe he was born in North America. Why can't we have Ralph as Mexican? Right? That'd be badass. Let Ralph be Mexican. Who's with me? Subscribe if you're with me. And then I just get 1 million subs. And I think we've covered almost all of them. Let's see, Madeline is Japanese. I don't know where Foxy's from, but I'll keep it a buck. I don't really give a shit about this character. I don't even care to speculate on where she's from. Looking through the characters now. I think we have Sylvie's from France, which I wasn't sure on, but I found that out today. Sylvie is a French name. Oh, speaking of Nest stuff, though. We have Cronin. Oh boy do we have Cronin. So, here's the thing. You might be thinking, well, Cronin is just a Kyo clone. But what's interesting is, I found this out the other day. If you go on the KOF portal, his bio says, a mysterious young man who teamed up with Fan Hale. It seems he has some connection to a secret syndicate known as Nests. However, the details are unknown. Birthplace unknown. The details of his connection to Nests are unknown. And then if you look at Nameless, who is, you know, the replacement for K99, K49, whatever you want to call him, it says in his bio on the KOF portal that he is the 9,099th 9,999th K-Dash clone, it says, which is a mistake. Trust no one, not even SNK. Christ, I don't know. K-Dash was not cloned 9,000 times. It was Kyo, that should say Kyo. But it's interesting that they make that distinction for Nameless, who's debatably canon. We don't even know. but not for Cronin. So that says to me, now I could be wrong, this says to me that Cronin has been retconned to not be the 9,999th kill clone anymore. Despite that, in their ending in KOF 15, Angel calls Cronin K49. So, alright. So therefore, Cronin would be, you know, like Cooler and K-Dash, another one of these people that were abducted by nests and, you know, experimented on with, you know, kill DNA and all that, you know, made cyborgs, whatever the fuck nests did with people, instead of being a kill clone, right? But that does beg the question of if Cronin was a regular person before he was, you know, given Nest's cyborg ability, whatever the hell, where was he from? And that's where I get stuck, because I don't know where Cronin could be from. You got his second name, McDougal. I don't even know how the fuck it... McDonald's? I don't know how you pronounce that, to be honest. But I looked into the name and it's of Scottish origin, but, you know, obviously that doesn't really mean much. People with that second name come from all over. They come from America, Britain, you know, wherever the fuck. So, I don't know, man. Cronin is just Cronin. He comes from somewhere. He is a guy. Maybe he is. Maybe I'm wrong. It just seems weird that they wouldn't mention that in the KOF portal bio. Second name is Scottish in origin. Don't know why I capitalized origin, but that doesn't really mean much, so I don't fucking know. That's good. That seems like a good thing for Cronin. So I believe I'm looking through the list. I can't see anyone that doesn't have a. I don't know if Momoko? She's Chinese, right? Psycho Soldiers are all Chinese. Where the fuck is she? Where this bit at? Who cares about this character anyway? Oh, but Japan. Okay. So Psycho Soldiers, Bao. Oh, Birthplace. China is a good bet, it says for Bao, so we're just gonna go with China. Do we have a China on here? No, let's add it. China. There you go. So that is pretty much the complete list. Yeah, I mean, looks good to me. There's some things that you could probably refute, like, you know, I headcanon some of these, like, Vanessa, I just say from North America, it just makes sense to me, same with Mature, but, you know, most of these I feel like, you know, are pretty much the fan community consensus, and obviously it's not, like, you know, much proper empirical evidence for most of these, but it's just, you know, if you were to give these characters nationalities, where would they come, what would they be, right? So, if you have different opinions, that's obviously valid. I hate that word. Let me know what you think, actually. I'm curious. Like, where do you think Cooler comes from? Mature and Vice, you know, definitely. And, do you agree with K-Dash and Whip from Ireland? Do you think that's cool? I think it's cool. I don't know, I just think it's cool. Maybe because I just like Irish people. But, yeah, that's the list. That's the video. It's done now. Hooray! I don't have an outro. This was a very, very experimental kind of video where I don't have a big script or anything. I just sort of go off the cuff, just ad-lib it. And so yeah, it was probably terrible, but it sure was something. And it's an upload. My channel has been dying. Sorry guys, I'm taking ages. I'm working on stuff, alright? Next WTF is being scripted right now as I'm recording this. Well, obviously not right now, not this second, but I'm in the process of scripting that. I've got a big video, a really big project in the works. So that's gonna happen. So just please be patient with me, alright? I'll have videos out soon. And you guys better fucking watch them. Alright, bye.